Good evening from the Lingostown Gazette news shed on the eastern side of the village. This is Bill Bostic with Lingostown Gazette Live, a special episode following tonight's Lower Paxton Township Supervisors meeting held at the Municipal Center. And this meeting, one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here tonight and talk about what happened at the Supervisors meeting is that this meeting was all about, let me get it up here for you, to click the right things. This meeting was all about the township supervisors reorganizing after Pamela Thompson resigned her position last week after making some comments about raising money for some legal matter she's involved in, and she was censured last week and resigned. So now this week, the board pictured here had to reorganize. And let me get this off of here. Before we get into this too much, I do want to let you know that we're sponsored by Blue Line Pools and Outdoor Living here in 2026. And these folks based in Lingostown are willing, ready, and able to take your backyard, turn it into an oasis of sorts, a great place to hang out, pools, patios, all kinds of things, lighting. They do all kinds of things to make your backyard a beautiful place, a great place to get together with people, have fun, and swim, whatever it may be. Give them a call, Blue Line Pools and Outdoor Living. Thank you for your ongoing support. So we'll get right into it here. There was some scuttlebutt as far as what was going to happen with this reorganization tonight at the Township Supervisors meeting, and it turned out what was known ahead of time turned out to be true. And before we get into who was elected to run the board at its highest levels, I do want to say this. I think I counted up between last year, 2025, and now so far this year, 2026. This is the sixth reorganizational meeting that's been held, which just shows you how much of an uproar, how much instability there has been with the supervisors here in our township over the last 14 months. Amazing. 6 reorganizations. Now last year, 2025, the last group of supervisors that were in place for a number of months actually got things stabilized. We're doing a great job. We're going to be working on economic development. They played an integral role in bringing the professional firefighters into place. That I think we now have 8, and they're trying to hire 12 more this year. And other issues, they really were making some progress and got things moving in the right direction. But unfortunately, they did not get elected on November 4th. We have a whole brand new slate in here. A big change around, politically speaking. It was our current board's now all Democrats. And so hopefully after this particular reorganizational meeting, like the last group, our current supervisors, I'll put the picture back up here again. I think I still have it available. Actually, I may not. So anyways, the supervisors, as you look at it on video, we have Robin Lindsay, then John Campbell, Dr. Stewart, Kate Scheib, and I think I may be missing one, but those are the 5 people. And what happened tonight, as advertised beforehand, John Campbell is the one I didn't mention. He's the 5th one. John Campbell was elected by a 4-1 vote to be the chairperson moving forward here in 2026. And John's a very capable person as far as running a meeting. The last 2 meetings, he did a very good job. He understands the process. And I think he has some leadership ability based on his extensive business experience in the banking and finance area. He's also been, I think, continues to be a board member on several associations or nonprofits or businesses. I'm not sure of the lineup, but a very accomplished man. And there were some comments again tonight from Anthony Cristillo and Joe Lindsay. They expressed disappointment that Robin Lindsay, who has extensive experience on the board and in being involved in the township, something like 16 years, they were hoping she would get picked, but did not. Then the vice chairman. So if the chairman, in this case John Campbell, is not able to be at a meeting, then the vice chairman elected tonight by a 4-1 vote was Kate Scheib. So those are your two leaders at this point after tonight's reorganizational meeting. And just to run down the other things that happened, shouldn't take very long here. Hang in here as there may be some things of interest that you may want to hear as I go down the list of actions. If anyone knows Albert Jake Flowers, Albert was sworn in as a fire policeman and had some of his new colleagues there. Public safety director Adam Kashiba was on hand. So again, these are key volunteers, these fire policemen, and it's great to see a new person step up, and we want to welcome Albert Jake Flowers to that crew, the fire policemen. In public comment, trying to see what I want to highlight here. Again, I said there was some disappointment about Robin Lindsay not being brought in as the new chair. Anthony Cristillo, who mentioned some things, this would have been last night on Lingo Sound Gazette Live, our regular show, expressed disappointment in that Mr. David Dowling, who is a lifelong resident of Lower Paxton Township and something like at least 30 years on the township's zoning hearing board. His term was up at the end of last year, and the new board, whenever Pamela Thompson was the chairwoman, opted not to bring him back on the township zoning hearing board. So, and based on whatever, no one said anything different. So what Anthony was saying, that Dr. Stewart, his son-in-law who recently moved into the area, was picked. When Alan McCormick got up to speak, who was the interim supervisor last year, he made a valid point that his point was that elections have consequences. So with this new board, they have every right, to put their own people in there, the people they want to be in there. But it's just, again, it's unfortunate. David Dowling, who's chaired the zoning hearing board for many years, he's a lawyer, very respected citizen. He did not get renewed for another term. So that was a discussion point. Let's see if there's anything else here. Those are the main things as far as public comment. I mean, the other things, there were other people that got up and talked, but nothing that I want to bring up at this point. And some of the issues that were brought up in public comment, actually, in just a minute, I'll be talking about them. The board did hire a new deputy director of public works, Eric Morgan. I think that was a promotion. He was actually working for the township and now was promoted. A key employee in the township, Bill Weaver, who heads up the sewer authority. So that would be stormwater, sewer issues. He's going to be retiring, so they're repositioning some people on, and this particular township staff member, Eric Morgan, was promoted tonight. Let's see. Then when we got into every meeting, the township supervisors are given an opportunity to make comments, sort of, update people if they want to on some of their activities. And during that time period, John Campbell made a statement. There's been a lot of talk about doing something on the economic development front. Colonial Park Mall, of course, but other properties as well. Doing things to attract businesses to our township. Right now there's nothing happening on that front. The prior board had talked about it, but by the end of the time when the budget was put together, they dropped it to let the new supervisors figure out what they want to do. So right from the beginning of the year, there's been a lot of talk and encouraging these supervisors that are in place now to do something. John Campbell, again, the new chairman, did indicate that he has started talks. I think he met with the township manager just in recent days, or maybe just within this week sometime, to begin conversations on coming up with a strategy for economic development. So he wants to get in place a strategy before they do any hiring or rejiggering the budget to create money to hire someone or whatever they're going to do. The good news is, and what I'm happy about, is that that discussion under John Campbell's leadership has started. One other issue that came up in the manager's report, Michael Gossard, fairly new manager here in the township. There's discussions taking place on fixing up properties as far as stormwater management. As stormwater management facilities were put in, like to drain water off the streets and direct it in a particular way, these projects were put in, and it's caused other problems. For example, some people have their backyards flooded when they never flooded before, or so they do change the stormwater around, and it causes other problems. And I guess there's been some sloppy work done by the contractor Doley, who's been in the township for a number of years working on things. So I believe there's a pretty big pile of stormwater issues around the township on different properties. And they're starting to put together a plan. So a $500,000 plan was mentioned, Mr. Gossard mentioned, that would run through 2028 to address all these issues. And I will be following up with him on this plan. It wasn't really a scenario where he was going into any depth as far as what this $500,000 plan looks like or what they're going to be doing. I know I've been doing some advocacy work, and there's a woman who lives on Devonshire Heights Road who's one of those victims of having their backyard flooded. The water's not draining off her property properly, so I'm trying to help her out. So I'm going to do some more work on this stormwater issue that Township Manager Michael Gossard brought up. Two other items I want to discuss, and this one may be interesting. 3 supervisors, John Campbell, Pamela Thompson, and Robin Lindsay, attended a ribbon cutting for a new business in the township, and it's called Lumonte Banquet and Catering. Lumonte Banquet and Catering. It's a place that they're going to be they said they have a welcoming space for weddings, community gatherings, cultural celebrations, nonprofit functions, and small business collaborations. And this facility is in the office park on the eastern edge of the township. If you're on Route 22, heading toward the heading east, so you're heading out of town in the East Hanover Township, the Grantville area. Before you get outside of Lower Paxton Township, on the left is a rather large office park. Most of the buildings are single story. It's been there for a long, long time. They're located on 95 Sharon Drive, so that Shannon Drive is within that office park. And another landmark would be if you're heading out of town, heading east, it's just beyond the Sheets and Ollie's. You'll see this office park on the left. So that's where it's at. And I think I'm going to reach out to them and see if they want to be the business spotlight on Monday, to see if they will take some time and come on our show, Lingo Sound Gazette Live, that we do every Monday, and can spotlight their business for them since they're just opening up. Apparently very excited about doing this, and so we'll find out more about that. The final item, and I'll check for comments too. It looks like there are a couple here. Before we check the comments, on February 24th, there's going to be, and let's see what day that is next week. Next Tuesday, probably at 7 o'clock. This is when the Township Authority will be meeting. The Township Authority, whenever you get your sewer bill, all right, you have a sewer charge, which I think is probably your biggest one, and then you have the stormwater fee that came into play a few years ago. These are the people who deal with all those issues, the Township Authority, and I believe that the Township Authority and the budget they have every year is almost as big as the township, and so it's a separate governmental agency, but it's within Lower Paxton Township. They take care of the stormwater issues and sewer issues. And some of the meetings can be very interesting because, like I mentioned earlier, there's some stormwater problems that have been cropping up as they've done stormwater projects around the township. And you hear people talking about getting flooded out and how the water comes up and the different problems they have. So actually, it can be very interesting. And again, I'm a local government nerd, so I do spend some time, if I remember, to watch the authority meeting. And I'll let you know on Lingostown Gazette Facebook page. It may be one of the meetings that they do broadcast on YouTube and on YouTube, and it shows up, I think, on the township website as well. So if you want to take a peek at the people who are on that board, what they do, because it's a key service provided by the township, but it's done by the authority. So let's see what the comments are here before we sign off. Kane Smelts, longtime supporters, thanking us for the coverage. Donnie Paul says, think about how a development with over 700 homes along Beaver Creek will affect flooding and other stormwater issues. That we're talking about the Wenrick Street development that's going to stretch from the eastern edge of the village area all the way down to Central Dauphin High School. It doesn't go all the way down there, but it approaches Beaver Creek, which runs along Piketown Road. And one thing to know, when these developments are developed and the plans are put together, there's extensive review of all kinds of issues, roadways, design of homes, and they also deal with stormwater issues, like Donnie's talking about here, the impact that development will have on Beaver Creek. So the theory is that they have to put together this plan so it adds no more stormwater, to that area. They have to control it, manage it, put it in the ponds, whatever. That's up to the engineers. So in theory, Donnie, those 700 homes should have no impact on the Beaver Creek. Whether that'll come out to be true or not, who knows? But that's the theory. Anthony Cristillo weighs in with good update, Bill. So thanks, Anthony. And that pretty much wraps it up, unless someone has any other questions, and I doubt they're going to show up. So with that, I want to thank again our sponsor, Blue Line Pools, and now I lost my train of thought. Blue Line Pools and Outdoor Living. That's what it is, okay? And thank you for the people who have showed up tonight to watch this. I thought it was important to let you know who your new leaders are on this particular board. John Campbell, Chairman, Vice Chairwoman Kate Scheib. So with that, we'll say goodnight and look for you on Monday evening. We have another edition of Lingostown Gazette Live. Take care. Have a good evening.